Hello, good evening. Welcome to F3, where we are going the wrong way around in Silverstone. In what promises to be another special night in F3. Yes, as we are in F3. Let me get the comments up so I can start reading them and giving you all abuse back as you give to me. We have 3 people live. Hello, Mr. Blasic. Andre, how are you? Mr. Dabashi, how are you doing? If Yeast doesn't lap everyone today, he is washed. He is the Lando Norris of F3. Don't forget it, boys and girls. Macaulay Beard going to bottle another race. Bro wants to catch the Ipswich game. Who the hell is this inviting me? Go away. We're watching Mr. Lando. As he has a wobble there out of, I was going to say, coming out of Chapel, but that's not Chapel. I don't know where this is. Is this like Old Pit Straight? Is this the start-finish straight? This is the start-finish straight, okay. Into Vale, I think. Takes a lot of nothing there. Takes a lot of curb there at the start of the chicane. Right, this is really testing someone's knowledge of this track. Down the hanger straight we go. And it's not going to be Maggots and Beckett's, it's going to be Beckett's and Maggots. Work that one out. Into Beckett's, into Maggots. Purple sector 1 for Mr. Fraud Norris. Seeing those houses on the right hand side, you can actually rent them out during race weekend. And now passing through Cropstown, the old start finish straight, and nothing too bad I like to think here. Little clip to the left hand side into Brooklands now. Wow, this looks so different. I was at this track last year and you do pick up little bits and pieces, you know. But Rob Knable has went provisionally fast, automatically seeded, or super immediately seeded by Aaron Stone. Into the 128.0 as we go. And here comes Yeast. What time is he going to set? Is he going to be in the 127s? Where will he be as he is our champion-elect in F3? Everyone's backing him, but his teammate tonight, Liam Cross, he is in the 127s. Wow. A 127, 9/10 faster than the rest of us. His championship rival, it has to be said, is Mr. Liam Cross, who's not in the lobby just yet. There is fears that he will have to join later and start from the back of the grid if he's not careful, which would be disastrous. Ricardo Chivalron as Barry Kruger going P2. As speaking of Ricardo, into Premier Uno, P1 for him in the V-Carb with just under 13 minutes of qualifying to go. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. Where is Lex? Lex asked me about my week. He hasn't arrived yet. Anyway, we will focus on other drivers. Lewis Marion in the pits as John Ahern going through Beckett's and Maggots. Into Cops he goes. Lovely view there. That's where the Lego store is in the museum area on the race weekend. How do I remember these random facts? And the little hotel here on the left. I think it's a hotel. I don't know. A lot of random places in this track. Anyway, it's weird looking at this is like the correct direction, but we're going backwards in Silverstone. Overtaking opportunities, there's not going to be many, to be honest. Definitely not turn one. Turn one's going to be a shit show here. Well, the DRS zones are a bit weird as well, aren't they? As John Ahern goes P3. The summer weather really kills attendance. Yes, sir. It does indeed, Andre. Martin Lobb, when are you returning back to sim racing? When are you returning back to sim racing? We miss you, Martin. We miss you. As Aaron Stone is on an in-lap, by the looks of it. Charlie Gordon has invalidated. He's going to be starting again. Well, we won't say anything. Bashi giving some words of encouragement to Mr. Lobb in the chat. Brendan and Martin love each other. They're good friends. I think they're allies. I think they've got the same parents, to be honest. Kosovo is Serbia. Okay. Right. It's gonna get desky between these two. And nothing else is really happening out in the track. Yeast is ready to come out for his second lap. So Mr. Beard, I think he's realised something here. Oh, as you got an Aston Martin just losing its wing. That's Aaron Stone. I think he's realised that there might be a lobby restart if Liam can't get into his car. And he's using up all his soft tyres. I think he's been quite loquacious about this and a bit cunning, should we say. And let's see. I think a lot of drivers are just learning this track as well, because I don't think they actually know it. Reverse track's a bit of a gimmick. Considering you can drive any track in reverse in time trials, it doesn't exactly take a lot of work to do so. Wow, Yeast really extending track limits there. And off he goes on his next lap attempt. Harvesting loads of battery here. Up the hill. Into Stowe, I think it is. As Ricciardo is coming out for his next attempt. Just under 9 minutes to go in qualifying. And into Beckett's. Into Maggots in just a second. Another purple sector 1 for the Ipswich Town fan. I'm assuming Yeast is from Ipswich. As he goes through Cops now, everyone vying for that trophy at the end of the season with their name on it. And we see what happens here. Coming down the straight. And it's not a purple sector 2 for Yeast. He's just marginally improving. But it will be close for pole. It'll be just in and around the pole time. So he just needs to get about half a tenth here. Not even that. Or just even a hundredth or two. Through the final corner. And indeed, he has found enough time, under a tenth, but it is pole position at the moment. As we see Ricciardo starting his lap, is Yeast going to give him an inverted toe if he starts slowing down here on this hanger straight? This is the main question. As Ricciardo motoring on here, he's not going to get any toe from anybody. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. As it looks like Rob Knebel has come off the track. The laggy racer indeed has. Nearly all the cars are indeed out on the track. Lewis Merrinan, Lugoats, up to Lugoats things. But we will ride on board with this man, Mr. Ricciardo, as he goes into Brooklands now. Yellow flags now in sector 3. Yes, driver is just being let past. Now Ricardo's going to get a bit of a tow here. He's up 3/10 on his last time. So this will dump on the rest of the field. Where is Sam Kent? No Sam Kent tonight. As Andre says, let me leave the F2 oblivion. Well, you're quick enough for F2, Andre. If I let you race with these guys, you win by 50 seconds again. They're all going to go crazy. Well, Ricardo, 3/10 indeed it is over the difference to the rest of the field. Over 3/10. That is some statement made by him. Andre, if I let you race in F3, there'll be war. There'll be absolute war. You know, as much as I'd love to commentate you and Ronaldinho. You know. John Ahern now into Beckett's. Into maggots. Bashi, you can race in F3 if you want. You can have 1 or 2 races here. Annoy everybody and then just leave. Which is exactly what you probably would do if you were here. You'd probably win both races by a combined 20 seconds and then just disappear off the face of the planet. 5 minutes to go in qualifying. As we see the Irishman John Ahern, Unk as he's known in his friend circles. Where is Matthew Heaney? That's another interesting question. Lots of interesting questions. John is into the pits. Barry Kruger's up next. And Barry is about to start his... I think he's about to go into the pits, actually. Yeah. So everyone's finished their current rounds of attack. Apart from Aaron Stone, who goes nicely up to P4. Well done to him. Charlie Gordon has it validated, and I'm assuming he's heading back into the pits. What will Lugarts do? Now, as he is starting, I think he's about to start his lap because he's surely got enough fuel, so we'll see it here in just a jiffy. But yes, Andre, I do agree. In the summer months, it is more difficult to get the numbers, the attendance, and then probably next season, it'll be back to full grids probably every week. It's just what happens. It's part of the game's life cycle. It releases in the summer when it's 20 plus degrees every day. And yeah, and then at the winter, that's when people actually start playing games again. Aaron Stone going a bit slow in Brooklands, but that's not going to affect anything going on here up the front. Yes, I agree. Yeast is bottling. Is anyone running low line? I don't think so, Martin. I think that'd be very, very difficult to do so. If you're running no line in Austria reverse, good luck going down that bloody, whatever the turn 3 equivalent is. Picking your braking zone there is just very, very difficult. Anyway, where will Lugotze be? He's drained all of his battery now with a whole sector to go. Not very economical on the battery usage, though he has regained a lot there. You see, there should be a DRS straight here, I think. But anyway, we won't argue about that now. 2.5 minutes to go in qualifying before we have 28 laps of racing, I think it is, or 26 laps of racing. But what time will it be for the Portugueseman? This is going to be in the 28th, I think. Oh, it's in the 27th. It's good enough for P3. That's quick. 27 flat nearly. And here's me saying it's going to be the 28th. Very, very nice. As the top two are about to come out, I think. Yes, they are. Yeast will be out first. Then Ricardo, though. You see a Haas of Barry Kruger in the distance. It's quiet without the bloody Haas terrorists, Callum and Max. But anyway. And then the Romanian terrorists, Alex and Matej. It's just funny how that works out. With those four, you would have had 15 in the grid tonight, and then God knows where chaos. But anyway, it is what it is. As everyone is about to begin their final lap attempt. Aaron Stone sliding in the grass. I don't think he's got enough time to get to the thingy bob, to get to the start finish line. We'll see. He's probably going to have to cut half the track, which is a wee bit naughty. We'll see now in just a second. Speak. Well, what did we say? What did we say? I don't think that's worked out the way Aaron's wants it to. Right, Mark Anderson has started a flyer as we enter into the dying embers of qualifying. Down the straight he goes, Hangers straight, Pitt straight, Brooklyn straight, this straight, that straight. Yes, if Yeast wins, we ban Robertson, I agree. As we see Mr. Anderson going into Beckett's and Maggott's houses on the right, little villas. Into Cop's corner he goes as the leaders have also started their laps. Yeast is going to be the next person there, but we're going to see Edzak crossing the line in just a second. Will he be able to get to the end of the line before the end of qualifying? He will, but it's going to be a 1:27.6. It's good enough for P6 for him. Arthur's finished off now. Next across the line is Rob Knable. He goes P4. Aaron Stone's already finished. Next is going to be Mark Anderson, who set a purple sector 2, and he's 1.5 seconds up on his time. Wow, the partner of David Ann, what can he do here? It's a yellow flag in sector 1. God knows what that nonsense is going on. And this is going to be it here. And Mark is going to only manage P7. What can Yeast do? Marginally up in his time at the moment. It's not going to be enough as it stands. No, he's going to remain P2 by just over 2/10. Next up is Mr. Barry Kruger, and he's closely followed by our person on provisional pole. And what's Barry going to manage? Barry's going to manage a 1:27, not good enough. And Ricardo won't improve either, so that will pretty much do qualifying. Unless John Ahern can pull something magical out of the bag and find over half a second. He goes P3. Liam is joining. Well, he needs to join very quickly. And that will be qualifying. Done and dusted. Ricardo Chivern will be in P1, Yeast will be in P2, John Ahern will be in P3, Lugo to rounds out to your front 2 rows. Then Rob Knable and Aaron Stone will be in the 3rd row, Barry Kruger and Mark Anderson in the 4th, Edzak, Arthur and Charlie round out the rest of the grid. It looks like no Mr. Cross. As Charlie says, he probably should start practicing. As I'm calling for a restart, I don't know if they're actually going to do it or not. Yes, they have agreed to it. No, they haven't. There we go. 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 Isn't it nice that everyone reads the chat in the lobby? We go for a short commercial break while Yeast makes the grid. Congratulations to Rob Knable for winning the restart. The weather should not be random, it should be on sunny. Sunny, 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 sunny. What are we waiting for? Right, we're about to get back underway. Right, we are back, and we will be racing momentarily with now an extra driver on the grid. Right, finally, we are away in racing in F3, full grid, +1, whatever. And their 5 lads lights are away. We are off. Ricardo gets a decent start. Yeast is in behind him. And there's already massive contact there between Lugots and I think it's Charlie Gordon. Lugots is gone. He's just stuck on the start-finish line. It's a disastrous start to his race. Further down the grid, Arthur and Charlie Gordon fighting side by side coming out of the chicane. Charlie and Edzak also. Liam is already up to P8. Barry Kruger and Mark Anderson in tow of Aaron Stone. Rob Knable, John Ahern, Yeast and Ricardo. A chaotic start here. Andre, if you can be a standings editor, that would be great. Okay. Lex is doing his usual things. Right, so let's have a look at the tyres and see what everybody is on. Position changes. Lugots are down 8, that's the main one. Liam up 4. Everyone electing to start on those yellow medium tyres. And we all want Liam to win today to keep this championship nice and interesting. Edzak and Charlie Gordon fighting down the back of the grid. That is the goal for everybody here, is that Liam wins to keep this championship fight very, very tight. Oh, as we see someone go off there. Oh, we've missed it just there. I'm looking for food to order. I was almost going to get a Wagamama for lunch today, as Charlie Gordon's got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. As well, he's retired. He's had enough. That was a quick one lap for Charlie. It is what it is. We move on. And around we go. Barry Kruger making moves here, making headway. He's at the P6. John down to P7, unfortunately. As Ricardo's taking the fastest lap of the race already. And do we have action? Nothing obvious just yet. Everyone relatively close within each other. Rob is 2 seconds away from Yeast, but that's about it. As the field is pretty closely bunched up. The top two have broken away though. And begin to have their own fight up the front. So Yeast there, dear. It's not really getting much being done. Rob is kind of holding everybody up by the looks of it, and it's just letting the top two get away a little bit more. And I have just ordered my food for all those who are interested in knowing that for this evening, as it is a Friday night. Butch 191, order Domino's. Oh, I wish I'd read this beforehand. I didn't. Yes, Andre, great stuff by Lugo. It's 2 laps in, already down to P11, 42 seconds away. Leon leading the way, and Reese is struggling to stay within DRS. He is though at the moment. Show ERS. No, you're not even bloody engineering for anyone, Bash. You go away. Ruining the cinematic style of tonight's presentation. As we are almost 20% through race distance. No, ask me nicely. And then I will show ERS. This is too cool to watch. You ask nicely, and then I will show you ERS. Actually, you know what I'll do then? If you want ERS, I'll just stay on Yeast. That's the wrong thing anyway. You can just watch Yeast's ERS. As now the gap between Yeast and Rob is now over 3 seconds. It's really starting to expand it. Liam making moves. He's up to P7. Okay, fine. Since you said so nicely. And Ricardo is the man being hunted down by Mr. Ipswich Town. And Yeast is gaining here. He's gaining 4 laps onto those mediums. As we see John O'Hearn pitting. Does he have wing damage now? That's an interesting reason to... Obviously can't tell from that angle. Arthur's up to P8. Liam's in P7. Aaron Stone is stuck in a train here. Choo choo, bitches. He's not getting much done. He's just going to have to wait his turn. Barry Kruger also the same thing. Just a big DRS train forming. Not a whole lot happening as it stands. You've just got to pick and choose your moments here. Wait for drivers to make mistakes. Mark Anderson out of nowhere is up to P3. Well, The man who was in F4, whoa, as we see Rob Knable mowing the grass. The man that was in F4 briefly for an evening is back up to F3 and he's in P3. Aaron and Rob fighting. Rob's dropping like a stone. Ronaldinho has entered the chat. Good evening, sir. As we see these two battling yet again. Why is the camera angle good here, but it's bad here? What is the point of that? These two going side by side. Here's some lovely action from the two of them. No killings just yet as Rob wins out there, closing the door firmly on the Englishman. No, there's no Zandvoort today, but we can hope for more tomorrow. We live in hope. Maybe in F4 it's Zandvoort. I don't know, actually. What would be the point of racing? Zandvoort reverse would be a terrible race, and we all know it. Okay? We all agree with that. F4 is Silverstone as well. Okay, right, well, it is what it is. Edzak up to P8 as Mark pits. So a lot of the medium runners are pitting early. This could be a 5-stop race at this point. My F5 race did not go very well. I didn't have a setup put on because we restarted. So that was a boo-boo from me, to say the least. And yeah, not my finest moment. But we live and we learn. And we move, as they say, we move. Austria reverse turn 2 is hilarious. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great, but I mean, these reverse tracks are just time trial specialties, aren't they? They're not really for racing. Anyway, 7 seconds now is the gap between P3 and P2. Barry Kruger holding up everybody. He's the latest gentleman who's the front of this pack now. Rob Knable's recovered after going on the grass and doing the gamekeeper's job. As I see Aaron Stone there having a little bit of a lockup. And he's being held up by Rob now, so interesting to see here. Has anyone else elected to pit? Mark being an early pitter and John as well. I think John pit for wing damage, but what did Mark pit for? Seen enough, send top 2 to F2. How did Ronson do today? Well, I've kind of fucked with his head, to be honest, a bit, and I kept him behind for a bit. He was like running comfortably in P2 and then he pit in Austria with like 7 laps to go. And then recovered to play P5 or P4 or something. So, I'll take from that what you will. A Matthew special. Yes, Mr. Matthew Wrightson. Apparently it was an aggressive 2-stop as he described it. Lugo's making up time here. He's catching up with the pack. As Ricardo half a second clear of Yeast, and these two really pulling away. It does seem to happen a lot in this game where the top 2 will kind of just pull away by themselves and then the rest of the pack will be just lagging behind, for lack of a better word. Yeah. Andre, if you keep manifesting Zandvoort for tomorrow night, you're going to be a very upset man. As we see Rob here, and he's got Aaron and Liam behind him. Bashi is not in a party with Yeast and Liam Cross, I can tell you that much. That was a lie. That was completely a lie. Bashi, you should be racing in this game. As we're almost entering into a 3rd race distance. Things moving along nicely here. And the medium runners are going to start to feel some deg at this point into their tires. Mediums just don't last long in this game. Plain and simple. To Brooklands we go. Not a whole lot happening up the front. Big delta now forming between P3 and P2. This just helps Yeast's title aspirations. Is the undercut going to work here? This is a very, very long pit stop. It's normally close to 30 or 40 seconds, if I remember correctly. So it's a very long pit exit, which will be entry here. So it's worth. Why do we have two yeasts in here? We don't. Who's the second yeast? Oh, we have a. Oh, that's John. Yes, in the Red Bull. It's worth noting here as we see Liam and Aaron go side by side into turn one. Liam going to get the move done just halfway into the village chicane, and he's up to P5. Because it's such a long pit on this track, it brings up interesting strategy possibilities here. So if you do get stuck behind drivers in a train, you could just pit for fresh tires, see where you end up. Hopefully you don't end up in any traffic if you engineer yourself correctly, or if Ashley engineers yeast or Liam correctly. And, just go from there. But, I mean, this is it. We've lost one driver so far. It was Mr. Charlie Gordon. We lost him at the start of the race. He just had enough after not practicing. And Yeast has not been able to get past Ricardo, who's barely used any of his battery. And is swiftly motoring along. As now the race begins to settle down, Yeast is dropping out of DRS. 9 seconds is the gap between P1 and, P2 and P3. 10 seconds between P1 and P3. So these two are relatively close to each other. Liam getting past Rob. He's up to P4 now. And Liam really on a tear here. He's probably going to be in the driver of the day voting regardless of where he finishes after making up all these positions. Edzak down in P11. It's just not happening for Edzak this season. It's just not happening at all for Edgar. And Lugots as well. I think we should start considering some position or tier changes at some point. Yes, Andre, I can see that it's nearly 10 seconds to P2, and I can see what you're trying to manifest here yet again. Liam is on a charge. You have to remember as well, Edzak has indeed pitted. And we see Arthur into the pits, Mr. Woods. Long pit here. It just goes on forever. And it's going to be going so long that I think Mark Anderson's going to overtake here quite comfortably. And just like that. That's a slow stop there. It just drops down so long from that. Martin Lobb. You're 10 centimeters in Ronson and Yeast is 10 centimeters in you. Are you moving forwards or backwards? Well, this is an interesting question for a Friday evening. I would need to have a beer and then reevaluate, but initial thought was 10 centimeters forwards. I don't know how we've got onto this one, but fair enough. As Ricardo with a 10-second time penalty for speeding. So that 10-second gap we were all talking about, well, that's been negated there. Aaron Stone, another 1 in 10 seconds speeding in the pit lane. So this race has been propped wide open. Is Mr. Fraud Norris, is he going to have a chance here? Now, the other interesting conundrum is, and this is a properly interesting one, are these two going to slow each other up? Is Yeast going to be slowed up? Is Liam going to be able to overcut the field now? A safety car now would put Barry and Liam in such a good spot. Let's see if it happens. I don't think they wouldn't get P1, but no, it wouldn't. Yeast not bottling for once. Well, it seems like Ricardo is the bottler at the moment. He's going to have a bit of work to do if he wants to get back up to the front of the grid. Now, what can Liam do in that clean air that Macaulay just doesn't have at the moment? Ricardo's going to have to do something special here, reminiscent of Mr. Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. Well, the similarities continue. Liam now gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Sergio Leone as the pace of Yeast. Well, it's a big if. He has to keep him out of DRS. He's got to make 10 seconds up as well. Well, the Liam Cross hype train has suddenly died down here. After getting a 10-second time penalty, he's going to have to do a lot of work to catch back up. Mark Anderson back up to P3. The correct grid position has been restored. So the thing is, Yeast isn't as annoying as Lando Norris. I just find Lando Norris a very annoying person. Check on Bashi. He's probably having a stroke after the pen. No word from Mr. Brendan just yet. Gashi is... well, we don't know where he is. We will hear from him soon enough, especially if I turn off the ERS. Barry Kruger riding in P4 in the Haas. He's holding up Liam and the rest of the pack in situ. As we see a lovely helicopter angle. More helicopter angles in this game. Nobody has the chance to do a Jarno Opmeer tonight as well. After what he did in the PSGL F1 was a bit questionable, to say the least. Probably in poor sporting form, as we're over half race distance as well. With just 12 laps to go here. Not a whole lot's happened. There hasn't been a whole lot of overtaking. The only person which is doing so is Liam. Barry and Mark have been going up and down like a yo-yo as Lugosi goes into the pits. We started with 12 drivers. We are now down to 11. And Yeast in DRS yet again. And that's all he has to do to win this race, is just stay within DRS. The question here now is, obviously, the drivers who just recently pitted are all on the 1 stop. Mark is clearly on the 2. But what is he going to do? No, is he just going to hold out? Can those hards go to the end of the race? I don't think they can. And if they do, they're going to be very close to a puncture. So it'll be interesting to see what his plan is. The same with John. I don't think John's can either. He's setting the fastest lap of the race. And he's really closing in now on Ricardo. Almost making contact with the back of him there. Oof. don't have to do anything risky here, Macaulay. Just let the race come to you. He's got a 10-second time penalty. Since you have to be gifted wins like Mr. Norris. I'm not going to let this slide. Nice and easy, nice and easy. Show P1. You want to see some ERS. That's what you want to see, Vashi. I will show you P1, but I will not show you ERS. Or did I? That is the question. As Mark still nicely riding in P3. I think he's going to try and go to the end, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. It'd be an interesting strategy. There hasn't been, again, it hasn't been a whole lot of overtaking here this evening. Silverstone Reverse is really not it for in terms of racing by the looks of it, which is a shame. As Rob Knable, who was up to P3 at one point, is currently finding himself down in P6, net P5 after the penalties. Is Mark... Oh, what was that? Aaron Stone just going miles off the track for no random reason. Now, is Ricciardo in danger of losing P2? That is the question here. Liam with a 3-second time penalty, as he overtakes Barry Kruger off the track, and we'll give that back to him. Liam won last week's race in Hungary against Mr. Sam Kent. Sam was on an absolute tear, but decided to bonk Liam at the last corner, and then he let Liam through. As these two very, very close to one another now, into Beckett's and Maggots. And Liam preparing for another attack, and he's got 13 seconds worth of penalties. As we have about 10 laps to go here. John Ahern with a 3-second time penalty for track limits. So now 4 drivers with a penalty as well. As Barry does Barry let Liam pass there? I think Barry has. I think he knows Liam won't pull 13 seconds off of him. And that's smart there. As Mark into the pits, he succumbs to those hard tyres and the degradation that follows from them. He's going to be opting to be on the quicker tyre and fresher tyre towards the end of this race. No, he just puts on a new set of hards. Interesting. Probably didn't have a second set of mediums. So the majority of the field is being separated by less than 30 seconds, which is pretty decent. And while all this was happening behind us, Yeast is overtaking Ricciardo. But Ricciardo's not giving this up. Again, this is risky from Yeast, because this is the only way he can lose this race, is by getting involved in a battle here and going into a wall or into the gravel. So he has to be very, very careful here. Doesn't want to bottle this one. I understand he wants to win this one on the track, but sometimes you just kind of have to just play the situation down, so to speak. As you see Ricciardo here, just nicely following along, and he's going to get helpings of DRS, which is going to help him pull away from Barry in P3. It's Barry, Liam must have been fighting yet again. As it stands at the moment, Liam will drop all the way down. He'll probably end up in P7 or P8. Probably P7. And this just helps Leon here. As Barry Kruger's left the session. Oh God, let's get him back in. Where is he? Where is he? As we see the V carb there overtaking in the background, but I can't find Barry. I'll tell him to add me. And he's going to start dropping down, unfortunately for him. Liam with 23 seconds of penalties. Mark Anderson with the fastest lap of the race so far. Yeast here closing in on Ricardo yet again, as Liam is just a bit too far away to make much of a difference here. His 23 seconds of penalties is not going to help his cause at all. Ed Zach with a 3-second time penalty though. That's no good either. As the top 7 really on the same tyres. Barry, who's not in the lobby, unfortunately got a slightly faster tyre. And it's just a little less worn. And then John on 14 lap old hards, he's going to be feeling it, the heat. It looks like Barry's gone, unfortunately. As he's now just sitting in behind Ricardo. He knows he doesn't have to beat him on the track to win the race. Here comes Barry. He says he's out of me. We're just going to have a little look here with Yeast. He's going to go down the inside of the outside of Brooklands. Ricardo giving him space. There's no contact here as Yeast. Well, there's the tiny bit of contact as Yeast tries to stick his nose in there. The two of them going down the straight. As we're getting Barry back in. There's a lot of communicating and connecting online services. As Yeast is overtaking Ricardo, these two putting on a show here. 17 seconds clear. Barry's back in. Hopefully he can get into his car. He's got 5 laps to undo the damage that has been done. And to make up about 8-9 seconds on the field. He could probably recover to P4 here at this rate. What's interesting to note is that Leon has 13 seconds of time penalties. He's got 10 seconds of time penalties, sorry. So Rob is a bit too far away to make a difference. But this is the man to watch. He's back in action now. And yet again, these two at the front kind of just pulling away by themselves. Liam's done well to recover to be P3 on the track, but it's just his penalties are just going to kill him at the end. Ivan Belov has joined. He will get 10 seconds removed, as it wasn't fair. Barry Kruger, I have invited you. Bashi is a Ferrari engineer. Yeast ain't washed. Well, look, there's a few laps to go here, Brendan, before we can crown him the champion-elect. But it does seem that way. Ricardo and Yeast are now working together. Ricardo wants to make sure that he doesn't get, as John O'Hearn gets 10-second time penalty for speeding the pit line, he doesn't get overtaken by anybody. As John retires now, and it just seems like the reverse track isn't for everybody. Austria's okay, the rest of them are... Yeast making that bread is right, Mr. Lobb. As we're down to 10 in F3, round 5. Hard to believe we're almost halfway through the season. Sorry, yeah, round 5. We're almost halfway through the season. It's gone by very quickly, even with the week breaks and everything else that we've added to give everybody a little less burnout, I suppose, or make sure everyone's all that fresher towards the end of the season. As they enter into lap 23. And Ricardo very close to the back of Yeast, who takes a lot of curb there in the exit of the Vale chicane, or should we say the entrance, whatever. As the chat is arguing about if Yeast is washed or not. If I could make a poll, I would. Admin, make a poll. I think you can only do it on PC. As we've just got a handful of laps to go. Not long at this point. Give you mod. Jaden, give Martin mod and see where he cooks. As Ricardo here and Yeast going side by side in the Exeter Brooklands. Down a straight. Freeze, you are a mod. As Lugo to get the 3-second time penalty. Yeast is going to try and get the move. Almost contact there. And this is what we were talking about, folks. That he doesn't need to win on the track. Now, if you think Leon's going to get this penalty removed, he needs to win on the track. But even still, for the championship, it's not all that bad finishing P2. So 24 of 26. 3 laps to go. As Bastian Vries with the update saying F4 was another shit show. Interesting stuff there. We had a lot of the characters that raced in F5 in F4, so yeah, what did you expect? This is the thing. Anyway, back up the front here. As Leon and Yeast now battling side by side in the Brooklands yet again. This exact carbon copy of a few laps ago. And Yeast against... why? Mr. Lando Norris doing what he does best. Sticking his nose there. Why? You're just risking the race, Macaulay. And this is allowing Liam to catch up a little bit on the rest of the pack, though it don't really matter too much. Andrei Fishchenko is loving this in the chat. As we enter into the penultimate lap, these two are still battling away. I think Yeast just dropped off now a little bit. If he has wing damage, is that going to cost him? It doesn't. We can't see it from here. Maybe he just has some superficial ring damage. Superficial wing damage, not ring damage. But we will see what's happening here. Let's look at the intervals from another, or the gaps in another perspective. So Aaron's got DRS, Barry's got DRS. He's recovered from P8 up to P7. He's probably going to make 2 positions up after this and finish somewhere in the region of P5. Maybe he can't finish P4. P5 or P6, we will see. Up the front again, these two are going to be back at it. No, Yus is too far away now. I think he does indeed have wing damage after that failed move into Brooklands. And Liam is indeed catching him as well at a rate. And Rob Knable has a wolf for company. As these two have been leading up the front all race long. As Ricciardo sets the fastest lap of the race on old hard tyres. Interesting. Interesting. As we enter into this final lap, it's been another fantastic night of racing in F3, it must be said. And in true Lando Norris fashion, one driver will win in Silverstone due to the other driver who was quicker having a penalty. A lot of the grid did end up having penalties. Half of our remaining grid. Barry Kruger suffering disappointment by disconnecting, and he will be quite upset about that. No doubt about it. Mark Anderson tried the 2-stop and it just didn't work out. Is Barry here battling along? Oh, and he's been spun as well with Arthur. That was 4 position as well. Will we hear something about that in the steward's room afterwards? However, it is these two who will cross the line momentarily. Very stellar stuff from them. Mr. Ricardo the Chivrin and Macaulay Beard. Ricardo will cross the line in P1. He might try and get this penalty overtaken. I don't think he can. And it will be Macaulay Beard who takes the win in F3 round 5. Our mystery reverse GP. And just like that, he has laid claim to his title aspirations. Liam Cross will serve a lot of penalties. Aaron Stone will also serve a penalty, but he'll go to P4. Rob Knable will finish on the podium as it stands. Interesting stuff. Arthur will be in P4. Barry would have been P5. He'll finish P6. Liam will finish P7. Mark P8. Edzak P9. And Lugots P10. And that is that. Barry not sticking around for the fireworks. Disappointing show there for some drivers. Bad starts, bad mid-races, bad penalties, you name it. It's about limiting your mistakes in ERO. Anyway, well, it's a Ferrari-dominated award ceremony at the end. Macaulay Beard will round the standings. Macaulay Beard in P1, Ricardo Chilburn in P2, Rob Knable in P3, then Arthur Woods in P4, Aaron Stone in P5, Liam Cross in P6, Mark Anderson in P7, Edzak Lugots and Barry Kruger round out our finishers with John Ahern and Charlie Gordon retiring during the race. We will get the race director for anyone that needs it. F2 is live tomorrow evening, followed by F1, where we will hope to see more full grids, more reverse action. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will catch you all next week. Andre, Bashi, Camel, Martin, all of you, you will be mods one day. Congratulations. Good night.